This is our brand new liturgy planning sheet, a really simple, interactive resource to help you plan creative and engaging collective worship with young people. And this is how you use it. Okay, so step one, the first thing we always do is start with our theme and of course start with scripture. That's so important. Having your scripture there from the very first step means that you can base your whole collective worship around it and be inspired from it rather than just tagging it on at the end. If you want a really good way of finding out a theme or looking at what we should be worshipping, check out the Ordo. There's a couple of videos that we're doing about that as well. Or just think about what liturgical season it is and find out what feast days it is that week, just so what we do links in with the wider life of the church. When it comes to finding your scripture, there's a couple of brilliant resources. One that we'll put a link to in the description is Openbible.info. You can search a thematic crowdsourced Bible, which helps you find scripture of all different kind of things. But the first step, whenever you're using the liturgy planning sheet, is to start with scripture. Okay, step two. The second thing you need to do is take your sheet and fold it in half. At the top we'll have written in our scripture because that's what's going to be the root and the heart of our collective worship. But at the bottom you'll see there's 4 boxes and they say see, hear, think and do. These boxes help us think about all the different things we want people to experience during our liturgy. To create an engaging collective worship that everyone can access and that different people and different styles can access, we need to make sure we're filling those 4 boxes with really good ideas. So before we worry about anything else, just take your ideas and fill your boxes with them. So you might think of a really good song that you like and stick it in the hear box. You might think of a really good picture or image or video you could use and stick it in the see box. You might think about a really good collective action that everyone can do, and that's something that people can use their bodies for and get physically involved with and stick that in the do box. Or you might think of a beautiful way to give people space and time and help people pray, and we'll put that in the think box. The reason we have those 4 areas is because unless you've got a balance of all of that, you're missing a really important part of the liturgical experience. If you look at Mass, the perfect example of the liturgy, it has things to see, things to hear, things to think about, and lots of things to do. And as long as we reflect that and harmonise with that, our collective worship will be really effective too. On the back of the liturgy planning sheet, you'll notice that there's this sheet as well, which gives you some ideas about which and what things and what kind of various elements of liturgy fit into the see, hear, think, do boxes. Step 3. Once you've got your 4 boxes filled and that they're even and balanced, because if you notice there's loads of stuff in the do box, it's going to be really, really busy and there's going to be no time to think, go back to the drawing board, take it up to the top and you'll see there's a really simple structure. This structure is the structure we always use for liturgy. Not to make liturgy all the same, but to actually give us the freedom to express in a way that harmonises with our liturgical tradition. The first thing we do is think about how we gather. The second thing, and very early on, is we bring in that word, that scripture, that inspiration for our collective worship. Then we think about what it inspires us to do in our response, and then we think about how our liturgy is going to live on in our mission as we go out. So what you do is you take all the ideas down here, you flip it over, and you start to figure out where they're going to fit into up here. For example, you might be doing a liturgy on baptism. And as such, when you gather, you might think, oh, what a great idea to use the waters of baptism like we do when we enter church as people gather into our space. Your large group action can be at any point, and that might be a really effective way to gather. And when you're thinking about gather, think about how you want people to come to that space of prayer and to feel like they're ready for a collective worship. Then the word, the scripture, this must be read out loud. That's really important, using the correct responses. How is it going to be read? Who's going to read it? And then what are you going to do to break open that word? How are you going to explain it, explore it? Are you going to reflect? Are you going to meditate? Are you going to dramatize it? It's up to you. Then your response. What do we do because of what we've heard? Looking at your ideas again, looking at the things that people want to do, how does that make us feel and respond, and what are we going to do in that response bit? It could be silent prayer, it could be communal prayer, it could be large group action, it could be anything. But it's important we take what we've received in the Word of God and then turn that into action and into experience in the way we respond. Finally, we get to the mission, and again, this is really important. Your liturgy shouldn't stop when you make the sign of the cross at the end. It should begin a new way of thinking, a new way forward. We should be inspired and fed by our collective worship so that we can go out and do something because of it. So how is your liturgy going to live on? What's your mission going to be? How are you going to take things forward? Step 4. you've got to think about the practicalities. On here, we've got two little check boxes, one that says things we need and one that says to do. When you're planning this, more than likely you'll not be delivering it straight away. If you are, cool, go for it. But if you're not, write down the equipment you're going to need and the things that you need to do to get ready. You might need to get a stone for every person. You might need to make sure that you've got a PowerPoint slide created. You might need to find that beautiful drape that you know is going to look perfect on your display. It's really important to get the practical bits sorted so we're not worrying about them or stressing about them. They shouldn't be and aren't what are the heart of collective worship. They're there to aid and enhance it. So don't get bogged down on it. Just write a simple list of what you need to do and then tick it off when you've done it. Step 5. Deliver and evaluate. That structure, the gather the word response mission, like I say, is not there to make it all the same. It's to give you the freedom to try different things. And particularly by starting our thinking with a see, hear, think, do exercise around the scripture, it should give you that freedom to be creative. A really good question to ask yourself whenever you're planning and all the way through is, how does it link with our theme and our scripture? If you can't answer it, don't put it in. Simple as that. But when it comes to delivery, just enjoy it. It's meant to be a celebration. It's not something we do, it's not a performance, it's not a concert. No one should be judging us or pretending they could do it better. This is simply about sharing what we believe and what we feel as a church, and that is so, so important. If we put too much pressure on it, if we practice it 50 million times, we lose that heart and that life and that authenticity, and then we stop feeling anything. And if we stop feeling it, there's no point in doing it. So when you deliver it, just try your best. Practice a couple of times so you're comfortable. Don't worry about memorizing things. If you can't memorize it, write it down. It's not about a performance. But most importantly, enjoy celebrating something you have created and you have shared. Make it personal. Share what you think and what you feel, what your testimony is, what your thoughts and feelings are. And by doing so, you'll help other people to feel like they can do it too. The other side of that then is to evaluate. Not to score it out of 10 or to mark it as if it's a pass or a fail, but to think actually, what did people enjoy? What really worked? What was really engaging? And also, what was really difficult? What stressed us out? What made us not feel prayerful? By doing that, it means that as we grow in experience and time, we get better and better at creating engaging collective worship that people can enjoy and get behind. And then of course, these sheets provide a really great resource for you to look back on and to revisit and to take ideas from. The beautiful thing is, in the church, the stuff we're praying about and talking about, it's not going to change. It's going to come around every single year. And as such, we can build upon and celebrate the good work we've done so far. The liturgy planning sheet is simply a process to help you understand how to create effective, engaging collective worship that works for all the people who are sharing it. It's about taking the pressure off when you just sat there thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to start? Where do I even begin? And about taking a step-by-step approach to create really good collective worship that harmonizes with our beautiful liturgical tradition as a church. Remember, start with scripture. Think about what you're going to see, hear, think and do. Look at your structure. How are you going to gather, hear the word? How are you going to respond? And what's your mission going to be? And then, of course, deliver with joy, passion and authenticity. And in doing so, you'll start to experience really what collective worship is about. Bringing people together and helping them encounter the living Christ through collective worship. Let us know how you get on in the comments below, and don't forget to check back on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NDCYS live, or our website, NDCYS.com, to find out and check out all the new resources that will be coming your way. Have fun!